Hello and welcome. My name is Olivia and I will be teaching you today. Start by removing any jewelry that may get in the way and any socks that may cause you to slip during today's practice. All we'll need is a yoga mat and plenty of space. We're going to start today's class by lying on our back. So allow your legs to fall open to the width of the mat and your hands to fall by your side, palms up to receive or palms down to give. Lying on your back, allow your eyes to close and to draw your attention and focus to your breath, acknowledging how your chest rises and falls, how you're breathing fully, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Remembering that if you find you're struggling during today's class at any time, at any point, to refocus on your breath. This will reground you and allow you to find a sense of control. Start to wiggle those toes and wiggle those fingers, reawakening the body here. Reaching up overhead, stretching your body as if you've been asleep for a really long time. Doing what feels good for you now, perhaps bending over to the right, to the left, rotating those hips, rotating those ankles. On your next exhale, draw your knees in towards your chest here, hugging them in tightly and starting to rock side to side, massaging out that lumbar spine. Once again, finding that stillness and start to rock forwards and backwards, eventually so that you can come up with ease onto all fours. We're good with alignment here, so we want wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, and if you look between your legs, you shouldn't be able to see your toes. Transitioning into our cat and cows, inhale, lifting the gaze and pelvis, and exhale, rounding that spine, drawing your gaze towards your belly button. Keeping your legs and arms where they are, keep flowing through these in time with your breath here. Making sure we're having a fluid movement on the spine. Finding that stillness again, shift your weight over onto your right knee, lifting your left leg into the air. As you exhale, combine your knee and forehead together, and as you inhale, raise both your gaze and your foot. Very similar to what we just did with our cat and cow, just with an extra addition here. On that next exhale, draw that knee in towards that left elbow and extend that leg straight out, suspending it in the air here before allowing the foot and the leg to come down. We want to rotate our foot so it's pointing directly to the wall, and inhale, rising up. Lift those arms up and exhale over towards that straightened leg, stretching out the right side of the body here. Exhale, planting those hands back down and returning to that tabletop pose, shifting your weight onto your left knee and raising that right knee in the air this time. Transitioning with the same way with our breath. Exhale, knee to forehead, and inhale, gaze to the sky. And once again on your next exhale, draw that knee in towards your right elbow, extending the leg straight out, suspending it before allowing it to come down, rotating that foot, and inhale, rising up. Reaching over towards the right side this time and stretching out that left side body. Exhale, drawing those hands back down, coming back into that tabletop position, wanting here to keep our hips and our knees where they are. As we exhale, start to walk those hands forward, coming into melting heart pose, aiming to bring our chest and our chin or either forehead onto the mat. Inhale, start to rise up, drawing those hands back in. As we exhale, push back and down into our downward facing dog for the first time today. You may want to alternate between bending the legs here, but we want to make sure that our weight is going into the knuckles of our hands here. Taking a step outside the width of our mat, coming into a wide-legged downward facing dog. Placing the left hand in the center of the mat, inhale, rise up, and exhale, reaching for wherever is comfortable on the left leg with the right hand. Bringing your gaze past that armpit and towards the ceiling. On your next exhale, replacing your left hand with your right. Inhale, reaching up, and then exhale, reaching for wherever's comfortable on your right leg this time. Once again, bringing that gaze past your armpit and towards the ceiling. Once again, on that exhale, drawing your hands back down towards the mat, returning back into your downward facing dog pose here. Now I'm a little bit further back, but I'm hoping you're a bit forward. We want to start to toe heel our way towards the front of the mat so that we're coming into a deep forward fold. Moving with intention here, inhale, rise up slowly so that your head and neck are the last to come up. Start to interlock your fingers, inhale, rising up. As we exhale, hinge over towards the right side, stretching out that left side body. Inhale, rise up again and reaching over and stretching on the left side, stretching out that right side body. Inhale, returning back towards center. Exhale into a forward fold here. Intensifying and deepening this pose by interlocking the hands, aiming to have them as straight as you can here. Exhale, planting your hands on the mat, stepping back on an inhale to a higher plank, coming down into an easier transition. Exhale, knees, chest, then chin. Inhaling to a baby cobra, making sure we're pulling those shoulder blades back. Exhale, tucking those toes and push back into your downward facing dog. Inhaling your gaze towards your hands, stepping or hopping towards the front of your mat. Inhale to a flat back, fingertips on the mat or hands on knees. Exhale back down into that forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive up this time, and exhale, hands towards your heart center. Inhale, rise up, and exhale, hinging at the hips, coming into that forward fold again. Inhaling to that flat back, and exhale, planting your hands, stepping back through plank. Original transition, or coming down through chaturanga, pulling those elbows in as close to the ribcage as possible, flipping those feet and inhaling to an upward facing dog. Exhale, pushing back into that downward facing dog here. Inhaling those gaze towards those hands, stepping or hopping towards the front of the mat, and inhaling to that flat back. Exhale once more into that forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive up, reaching those arms out to the side, and exhale, hands towards that heart center. Exhale, hinging at the hips, Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, planting your hands, stepping back through plank and flowing through a vinyasa of your choice, chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Exhale back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, raising the right leg into the air. Exhale, sweeping it forward, planting it between the two hands. Exhale, bending that left knee down towards the mat, and inhale, rise up into a low lunge. Exhale, drawing those hands down towards the mat and towards our hips, pulling our sit bones back towards our heels and pulling those toes towards our shins, coming into our half Hanuman pose. If you can, try and walk those fingers forward, coming into our half splits here. Exhale, planting those hands back down and stepping back through plank, flowing through a transition and coming into our downward facing dog when you're ready. Inhale, lifting the left leg into the air, and exhale, sweeping it forward, right knee down towards the mat. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, drawing those hands back down to the earth and drawing those sit bones to your heels, pulling the left toes back towards the shins and walking those hands forward. Hopefully you'll be feeling the stretch in your legs here in our half splits. Bending that leg, framing that front foot and stepping back through plank, flowing through your transition and coming into your downward facing dog when you're ready. Inhale your gaze towards the front of the mat, stepping or hopping, inhaling to a flat back. Exhale to that forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive up, stretching those arms out to the side, and exhale, hands towards that heart center. Exhale, bending your knees deeply. Inhale, sweeping your fingertips along the floor and up towards the sky, pulling those shoulder blades down and bringing your gaze towards the ceiling or the third eye. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, planting your hands, stepping back through plank and flowing through your vinyasa, coming into your downward facing dog when you're ready. Inhale your right leg to the sky. Exhale, sweeping it forward, planting it between your hands, and inhale, rise up to your high lunge. Exhale, framing your front foot, stepping back through plank and flowing through your vinyasa, coming back into your downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg into the sky. Exhale, sweeping it forward, planting it between the hands and rising up as you inhale. Exhale, framing that front foot, stepping back through plank and flowing through a vinyasa of your choice, coming into your downward facing dog when you're ready. Inhale your gaze towards your hands, stepping or hopping towards the front of your mat. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale to that forward fold, bending your knees and inhaling, sweeping those fingers, returning back into Utkatasana. Exhale back down into that forward fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, planting your hands down, stepping back through plank and flowing through your vinyasa once more, coming into your downward facing dog when you're ready. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, sweeping it forward, coming into warrior one this time. Your back foot aiming to be pointing to the top left corner of your mat. Inhale, rise up, front leg bent. Exhale, framing your front foot, step back through plank and flowing through your vinyasa. Exhaling down into your downward facing dog and inhaling, raising the left leg in the air this time, sweeping it forward. Your right back foot is now pointing to the top right corner of the mat in our warrior one. Exhale, framing that front foot, stepping back through plank and once again flowing through that vinyasa. Inhale your gaze towards your hands, stepping or hopping towards the front of your mat. When you're there, inhale to your flat back and exhale back into your forward fold. Bending your knees generously, sweep those fingertips along the floor, returning back into Utkatasana. Exhale to that forward fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, planting your hands, stepping back through plank and flowing through a vinyasa of your choice, coming into downward facing dog when you're ready. Inhale, raising the right leg into the air, sweeping it forward and rising up into a high lunge. Allowing your back foot to rotate so it's parallel to the short side of the mat as you exhale, extending your arms out in two opposite directions here, gazing on your front middle finger. Exhale, rotate your palm, coming into our reverse warrior. Inhale, returning back into warrior two. Exhale, drawing that arm down across your leg and bringing your gaze past that overhead arm towards the ceiling. Ensuring in this pose that our weight is going into our legs, extend that bottom arm out. It's a little bit of a power pose here, so make sure you're smiling. Inhale, rise up back into warrior two, starting to interlock your hands, and exhale down and inside of that bent leg into humble warrior, aiming to have those arms straight behind you. On your next exhale, frame your front foot, step back through plank and flow through your vinyasa. Inhale, raising the left leg in the air this time, sweeping it forward, and inhale, rising up into your high lunge. Next exhale, allow your back foot to rotate so it's parallel to the short side of the mat, extending your arms out in two opposite directions, coming onto warrior two on the other side. Rotate your palm as you exhale, coming into reverse warrior. Inhale, rise back up into warrior two, and exhale, drawing that left arm down to that left leg, reaching and stretching overhead with the right arm, bringing your gaze past it. Once again, making sure that we're shifting our weight into our legs in this pose. Start to extend that bottom arm out. I almost forgot to do it here, hence why I'm smiling. Inhale, rise back up into your warrior two, interlocking your hands. Exhale, coming to the inside of that leg for humble warrior. On your next exhale, frame your front foot, step back through plank and flow through your vinyasa. Taking this downward dog as a mini resting pose now, and just allowing ourselves to fully exhale with a deep cleansing sigh. So deep inhale through the nose, loud cleansing sigh through the mouth. After that sigh, bring your gaze towards your hands, stepping or hopping towards the front of your mat, inhaling to a flat back. Exhale to a forward fold. Deepening that bend, inhaling, returning back into that Utkatasana. On the next exhale, push the mat away with your hands, returning back into a standing pose here. Coming into our balancing poses, I'm just taking a step back so that you can see me, but I want you to stay exactly where you are. I want you to start to focus on a point in front of you that's unmoving and shift your weight over towards your right leg here so that you can raise your left with ease. We're going to be bringing it around our right, and if we can, hooking those toes behind. Drawing those arms up into cactus, whatever leg is on top is the arm that's underneath. So we want to bring our left arm down and our right arm over top, aiming to have our palms connected here. If you're feeling a bit unbalanced, just sit down into this pose and push those hands up a little bit more, remembering to still focus on that point in front of you. Inhale, release that bind, allowing your body to come back up again. You can keep your hands connected that like I have in eagle pose or extending them out. Start to shift your body forward as you exhale, pushing your leg back and your arms in the opposite direction, coming into our warrior three. Exhale, draw your hands back down towards the earth, coming into a standing split here. Rather than trying to open up the hip as much as we can, try and level off your hips so they're equal. You'll lose some height, but you'll definitely have a stronger sensation. Exhale, drawing that leg back down, planting those hands and stepping back through plank. Flow through a vinyasa just to keep that warmth and energy inside your body. Inhale your gaze towards your hands, stepping or hopping towards the front of the mat and inhaling to a flat back. Exhale to a forward fold. Reverse swan dive up. Inhale, exhale, hands towards your heart center. Once again, I'm stepping back, but please stay where you are. Start to focus on a drishti or a focus point and shift your weight over to your left leg this time so that you can lift your right leg up and across, remembering to bind those toes if it's there for you. Once again, coming into our cactus arms, our right leg is on top, so we want our right arm underneath, interlocking those hands so our palms are touching. Next, inhale, release that bind. Keeping that leg suspended if you can. Start to shift your weight forwards and backwards, reaching into your opposite directions, coming into warrior 3 on the other side now. Exhale, drawing your hands back down towards the earth, coming into a standing split on the other side, remembering to level off your hips if you can. You'll know you're doing it right when you can feel an intense stretch on the back of your leg here. Drawing that other leg down as you exhale, plant your hands and step back through plank, flowing through a vinyasa of your choice and returning back into that downward facing dog. Exhale, bending your knees, drawing them down towards the mat and untucking your toes. Allow your sit bones to come down onto your heels and your forehead to come down as well. Inhale, start to rise up. If knees are a problem area for you, roll your mat up now so that you can shift your weight with some padding. Otherwise, inhale, rising up, placing your hands at the lower of your spine. We're making sure that we're opening our chest here by actively pushing our hips forward and shifting our weight forward as well. Tilting our head back, but making sure that we can still breathe. Staying here if we're comfortable, or perhaps coming into the full pose by tucking our toes and reaching behind for our ankles. Still making sure we're tilting our head back and can still breathe. If we're reaching behind for our ankles, slowly replace those hands at the lower of your spine one at a time, rising up. And then for everyone, slowly come down as you exhale and then draw your head back down towards the earth, coming into our child's pose. We're transitioning down slowly to ensure that we don't become lightheaded in this pose. Giving it one more go. Inhale, rising up. And then inhale, rising up so you can shift your weight on towards your knees. Placing your hands at the lower of your spine, shifting your hips forward and opening up your chest as you tilt your head backwards, perhaps tucking your toes and reaching behind for your ankles if you didn't attempt them before. Replace your hands at the lower of the spine if they are away on your ankles and rise up slowly. Exhale, coming down, forehead down towards the mat. Inhale, rise up once more, but instead of coming into camel pose, plant the hands in front of you, coming into a high plank. Transitioning to a side plank here, come to the inside of your left foot and the outside of your right, extending the left arm up to the sky and actively pulling that right hip up. If wrists are a problem area for you, make sure you're doing these side planks on your forearms just to protect them. Exhale, come back down into your high plank and rotate over to the other side so that we're on the inside of the right foot and the outside of the left. Once again, extending and lifting that right arm into the air. Exhale, drawing that right hand down towards the earth, returning to that high plank. transitioning down either through chaturanga or knees, chest and chin, allowing your body to fully surrender to the floor, either bringing your left cheek or your right cheek down. Pull those arms up towards your armpits and start to play around with the activation of your muscles at the lower spine, lifting your upper body away from the mat, perhaps even coming onto the fingertips and rising higher than before. Exhale, coming down, allowing the other cheek to come down to the mat this time. Once again, drawing those hands by your armpits, start to rise up, shifting on towards your fingertips, but also drawing your weight away from them, so much so that you could lift your hands with ease. As you exhale, draw your cheek back down towards the mat. Inhale, facing the front of the mat, start to bring your body up off the mat again, engaging the lower spine, holding this pose just a little bit longer this time and allowing your body to rise and fall as you breathe. This is a little bit exaggerated from my side, but it's just an example. Exhale, drawing your cheek back down towards the earth. One last time, gazing towards the front of the room. Inhale, raising your upper body off the floor. Perhaps this time engaging your bum and thigh so you can lift your legs off as well, extending your hands behind you and pushing your pelvis into the mat. Remembering to breathe here. Exhale, planting your hands, and inhale, push up into a high plank. Exhale into your downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg to the sky. As we exhale, draw that knee and forehead together. Inhale, leg to the sky. Exhale, knee towards your right armpit. Leg to the sky. Exhale, knee towards your left arm this time. Leg to the sky. As you exhale, we're coming into pigeon pose. So we're aiming to have our leg parallel to the short side of the mat here. Extending the back leg out. And once you feel comfortable, start to draw your upper body down onto your forearms, actively pulling your right hip back and your left hip forward here. Exhale, plant your hands, and on the inhale, rise up into a high plank. Flowing through this with a vinyasa, coming into your downward facing dog when you're ready. Inhale the left leg to the sky, exhale knee and forehead. Leg to the sky, exhale knee into left armpit, leg to the sky. Exhale knee into right armpit, leg to the sky one last time, and then coming onto pigeon pose on the other side. Once again, trying to create that shin to be parallel with the short side of the mat. Extending that leg out and pulling the left hip back this time and pushing the right hip forward. Exhale, planting your hands, and inhale, rise up into your high plank, flowing through your vinyasa here and coming back into that downward facing dog when you're ready. As we exhale, we're bending those knees and bringing them down towards the mat, crossing our ankles and rolling back, extending those legs out in front of us. It's okay if you can't do this, just come down, sitting on your sit bones and extend those legs out. Inhale, raise those arms, and as you exhale, reach for wherever's comfortable on the leg, making sure that we're moving forward with the heart here as opposed to the nose, not concaving this chest. If anything, we're aiming to bring this heart down onto our thighs and bringing our nose to our shins, if anything. Inhale, start to rise up slowly. Drawing those legs in as well, planting those feet on the floor in front of you, shifting your weight slightly and extending those arms out in front of you. Shift your body back ever so slightly so you can feel your core engage and alternate between lifting your legs up and down. If you can't feel your core engaged, this is the bit where you just sit back a little bit more. Perhaps you're feeling a little bit more confident, so you start to alternate between holding your leg up before you switch it over this time, until eventually you're feeling confident enough to allow both legs to be held up. Ensuring that we're having some movement here, exhale over towards the left side. Inhale, rise up, and exhale over to the right. Keep flowing to this in time with your breath. Inhale, rise up. Allow your feet to come down and exhale your upper body down onto the mat. Shuffling your feet a little bit closer towards your sit bones, making sure that you can touch the back of your heels. Shifting your weight on towards your shoulders and the sole of your feet. Inhale as you rise and lift your pelvis up off the floor, squeezing your bum cheeks together as you do so. Exhale, drawing those sit bones back down towards the earth. Once again, shifting that weight. Inhale, lifting that pelvis up towards the sky. Exhale, drawing those sit bones back down towards the earth. We're going to do this one more time. Shifting your weight into the soles of your feet. Inhale, lifting your pelvis up, perhaps this time interlocking your hands underneath so you're coming onto your shoulders more, and the highest point of your body are now your hips. Release your hands and slowly draw your pelvis back down towards the earth as you exhale. Exhale your knees in towards your chest, hugging them in tightly and just rocking side to side here. If shoulder stand is in your practice, please flow into this. Otherwise, keep your upper body flat on the mat and extend your legs up one at a time, straight up towards the ceiling, pointing those toes towards you. If we're in shoulder stand or in this pose, we're making sure the back of our neck is protected by only gazing up at the ceiling. We're not looking side to side. I will give you these instructions from then on, and you just need to stay here for a minimum of 10 breaths to get that lymphatic system moving. If you are in shoulder stand, slowly allow your upper body to come back down towards the mat. If your legs are extended, exhale them in towards your chest as well, until everyone has their knees in towards their chest, and they can be rocking side to side if this is more comfortable for you. If you're rocking side to side, start to find stillness here, keeping a hold of your right leg as you extend the left leg out and down. Using your left arm, you want to draw the right leg across your body, keeping your upper body on the floor but allowing your hips to rotate. Extending your right arm out and drawing your gaze towards it. Inhale, rise back up again, drawing the left knee back in towards your chest. And this time keeping a hold of the left leg as you extend the right leg out and down, drawing the left leg across your body with the right arm, extending that left arm out and drawing your gaze towards it. Inhale, drawing both legs back in towards your chest this time, rocking side to side once more. Coming into one of our final poses of today's class, we want to reach for the outside of those feet and draw those knees in towards our armpits, coming into happy baby pose. I was told one time when I went to a yoga class that this can also be referred to as a honey I'm home pose. So if you feel a little bit better doing that, call it that. You can find stillness here, or perhaps rock to side if you want to open up those hips a little bit more. On your next exhale, drawing your knees in towards your chest, rocking side to side, massaging out that spine. Finding stillness momentarily here and stretching one last moment before we come into Shavasana. Aiming to bring your forehead to your knees, just stretching out the back of your neck here. Eventually release, allow your head to fall to the mat, your legs to fall down one by one to the full width, and your hands to come by your side. Palms up to receive energy or palms down to give. We're coming into one of the hardest poses we'll be doing today, which is Shavasana. Allow your body to fully surrender in this pose. Allow gravity to take a hold of you, pulling you towards the mat, towards the floor, and towards the earth. We're finding complete stillness in this pose, both mentally and physically. Our day-to-day lives are full of so much pressure to always be moving, but we never really take the moment to be still, and most importantly, allow our mind to be still here. If thoughts come into your mind, acknowledge them and then let them go. If your eyes aren't already shut, please close them and surrender to this final pose. Wiggle those toes, wiggle those fingers, keeping those eyes shut, reawakening the body. Moving with intention here, start to roll over onto your right side, coming into a fetal position, but still remaining with those eyes shut here. Moving with intention, start to rise up slowly, coming into a seated position again. Your eyes can be shut or your gaze can be soft. Thank you for sharing your time with me and for taking part in my first recorded class. I'm hoping you enjoyed it as much as I did. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peaceful thoughts, peaceful speech, and peaceful love. Namaste.